Hey, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys. Today's date, we're going to talk about the latest stuff that's coming out about the complete penetration of US critical infrastructure communications network.
The Homeland Security Secretary says the Chinese hacking campaign against our telecom system is still going on. Watch this.
You correctly describe this as a very, very serious matter. China has, in fact, hacked into our telecommunications providers, some of them. And the extent of it is quite serious.
I'm going to show you a video where I confront a bunch of Israeli/Jewish kids at a secret stall.
Listen, I'm really asking you, don't do it for me.
I tell you fucking what, if you tell your fucking handlers, anyone else when you get out to Israel, it's going to get fucking tough for Jews in Australia, mate, until you start speaking out against the extremists in Israel and the extremists here. I will not have a subversive Jewish subversion in my country. Do you understand?
All right.
No, you are right.
Let me.
No, I'll do whatever I fucking want. Get your thing right, man. I want to speak to you about intelligence. Come on. Come on, brother. Won't the Gentiles be grafted into the vine, Ishak?
Zoom cop, do you remember the reporting from 2001, Carl Cameron?
Now Fox News has learned some U.S. investigators believe that there are Israelis again very much engaged in spying in and on the U.S., who may have known things they didn't tell us before September 11th. Fox News correspondent Carl Cameron has details in the first of a four-part series.
Well, we're going to watch a little bit of that, and I'll put that in full later on, edited for YouTube, of course, in full on my Patreon. But I'll show you back in 2008, August, talking about the exact same thing. And that's about 5 to 7 minutes worth. But before we get into that, let's talk about the date. The date is the 19th of the 12th, 19th of December, 2024. It's 1:36 p.m. Unfortunately, you probably would have this by now, but, oh, have they been fiddling and diddling? So now I go only to a Swiss server on my Proton VPN, and I can show you how they were in real time redirecting. Like, I've hooked up to my VPN, it's not changed once. I usually get an alert, bleep, and it'll say reconnecting, and then it'll reconnect to another server.
Hello? Hear the cars? The rain in Spain, the rain in Spain. Here comes a car.
Well, it does it all the time, and then you can hear the sound be destroyed, like this.
Yeah, see that? They're swapping my connection around. They're absolutely swapping my connection around. I can see them. They're hacking me right now.
Okay, now I'm on Swiss server only. I'm staying on the Swiss server, the home of Proton VPN, which used to, I might add, use Radware routers. Yes, so has this about. But apart from that, now it's working perfectly. Fancy that. Fancy that. How interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go on to this. The Trojan horse in US networks. We're going to talk about variant. We're going to talk about why do we want to know your favorite color? P-Tech, Guardium, all those Israeli companies, all of them involved in 9/11, and all of them in your current critical infrastructure. And it's China, 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 China. China did it, China did it, China did it, China did it. It's like, Israel, 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 City of London. These are networks for the City of London. China has no capacity to penetrate nothing. The doors are opened by the Israeli state, and they're Russian, Israeli, pretend Russian Jews. That's who's opening the doors to this stuff. Now, listen up and listen closely.
Welcome to China in Focus. I'm Tiffany Meyer. Our top story: how critical is protecting key U.S. infrastructure from China's threats? A security agency finds almost all the software they examine that's used by key industries contains code from Chinese developers. Officials say they have yet to be able to kick Chinese hackers out of U.S. telecom networks. Their message to phone users: switch to encrypted messages if you're concerned.
That's all right. We just can't kick them out of our critical infrastructure. Yeah, well, just use an encrypted app. Well, we'll see what we can do. I love it. It's just so funny. And you can see the drones tying in with all this stuff. So they're definitely prepping for something. I thought it was just a slow news day, but I can see the story building. They're prepping for something.
A recent report finds almost all the software products they studied used in key U.S. infrastructure rely on code written by Chinese developers. A Florida-based IT
Unlike beautiful Microsoft products and Windows products coded in Israel.
security firm is raising concerns to fellow Americans, citing several major hacking operations tied to China over the past few months. Fortress Information Security provides cybersecurity services. After analyzing over 2,000 software products, the company found 90% of them contain Chinese code, as do a quarter of software components. Software products play a significant role in powering critical infrastructure. The compromised code can act as a backdoor for threats, making the key systems more vulnerable to exploitation by adversaries. The report identified over 9,500 vulnerabilities across these products, and the majority come from just 20 components. This exposes our power grids, oil pipelines, telecom networks, and others to huge danger, all essential utilities that Americans rely on. Fortress's CEO Alex Santos is urging the country to eliminate China-born code from key infrastructure, calling China an existential threat to national security. He said the U.S. shouldn't wait to take action. According to the Department of Energy, last year, U.S. power grids suffered at least 5 cyber attacks. Telecommunication and water system have also fallen victims to cyber.
You have had some cyber attacks, and they're all from Israel. 90% of the cyber attack, I put to you the Microsoft attack with, what was it called? What was it called? I've forgotten its name. The one a few months ago. It was the biggest down. It was an addition security feature to do with Microsoft Windows, and there was a glitch. They said, no, that was BB. That was definitely Israel, 100%. I guarantee you not once has China dared to touch the US critical infrastructure. They have not dared to. They are terrified of the US. They know damn well that the US's capacity to F them is 100 times more than they can F the US. They wouldn't dare do it. Most of the downtime in all sorts of critical infrastructure is actually US intel, US departments, government getting rid of their crap. So you have a big outage in Texas. Now that was them getting rid of all the Chinese, Israeli crap, physical infrastructure out of the Texas system. Remember the pipeline? That was the NSA. They blame it on the Russians. Don't get me wrong. They got some capacity, but that was them just blaming them while they removed the stuff, because then, trust me, Russia wouldn't dare. They wouldn't dare. China wouldn't dare. But I know one country that would. Absolutely.
Cyber attacks. U.S. officials are warning phone users to turn to encrypted messages and voice calls.
All variant and converse info systems. Just remember this, as you'll see later on. All the billing services are still done by an Israeli company. And they even mention this, but they don't say Israel. They just say they know who you're calling.
That's because state-backed Chinese hackers are still lurking in the networks run by U.S. telecoms and internet service providers. U.S. officials said they hadn't been able to kick them out since a major breach 2 months ago. Authorities didn't mention the telecom companies that were hacked into, though previous reports mentioned Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. It's unclear when the hackers can be removed from the telecom network. Jeff Green is the Executive Assistant Director of Security at CISA, the top U.S. cybersecurity agency. He said it would be impossible to predict a time frame on when they can fully evict the hackers.
I'm not sure.
Vice President-elect J.D. Vance said his phone was hacked by China during the breach.
Oh, China,
and that he believes
J.D.
President Trump's phone was hacked as well.
Yeah, sure.
Chinese hackers have been able to steal a lot of sensitive data. They tapped a number of targets in the U.S. government. And officials said the hackers stole a large volume of records, including data on where, when, and with whom individuals were communicating. Hackers also access backdoor infrastructure used for legal wiretapping. Officials said the access would allow hackers to know who the U.S. government is keeping an eye on. The Chinese espionage campaign doesn't stop at the U.S. Canada, Australia, and New Zealand came out with recommendations Tuesday to bolster cyber defenses.
Wow.
South Korea.
Ladies and gentlemen, damn Chinese, Billy Bob. They ain't got slant eyes, man. They're damn commies. Oh, the commies are in suits, ladies and gentlemen, and they are well and truly within the gates. And it ain't China. Let's now quickly go to an extract from a 2008 video where I confront a bunch of Israeli intel assets in a shopping mall. And then I'll put the 5-minute segment up where I explain all of what you just saw now. 2024, December 2024, back in August 2008, 16 years ago. Now, this is Yitzhak. This is at a mall in the suburb called Joondalup in Perth, Western Australia, in the northern suburbs near my old university, where it is now at least. This is Yitzhak. This is a guy born and bred in Australia. Listen to his heavy accent. He will be Chabad. I guarantee you he is Chabad Lubavitch. They all got heavy accents because they all mix in the same circles. They all learn Hebrew before they learn damn English. Listen.
All right. I've got a funny question for you. Yeah. I'm a bit worried that you might be punishing Israelis.
What are you afraid for?
You might be. There's a lot of Jewish kids going around selling too fast. There was hundreds reported from the US after month. US media and Fox News reported them as a front for Israeli intelligence.
Part of the investigation focuses on Israelis who say they are art students from the University of Jerusalem and Bezalel Academy. They repeatedly made contact with U.S. government personnel.
They came to my house, they came to my former house, and they came to my sister's house where I was staying in a damned tent, would you believe? That's when I said, you know what, you little effers? I'm going to head down to your little secret store with my camera, and I'm going to have a little confrontation and give you a warning. This is 2008. This is when people did stuff on the streets. It's when Mark Delaney released Missing Links, all the work of Christopher Bolin, and he turned out to be a damn Nazi, but he was always on the street. Now you sit at home under your cheap Chinese light going, oh my God, I'm so shocked. Men think they're women. Ah! And that's where we are. But this is the olden days. You can see the full video on my Patreon, and it will make its way to YouTube once I edit it a bit. Let's now go. Oh, so my blood boils just remembering it. You know, you start coming around my house, you want to start getting effing smart. I think I proved once for don't get smart with me, because I'll get straight back in your damn face. And to the Jewish communities everywhere, you better start speaking out about these efforts. All right? Stop hiding, waiting for the goy to do your dirty work for you, because I just about had enough. All right? I've asked you repeatedly, you know who you are, to come forward, and you're all hiding. Oh, well, I'll lose my, yeah, you lose your business. Good, I lost my career. How about that? Okay, this is, you know what variant is? You know, remember Bill Binney?
I discovered that the programs that Ed was working on in sessionizing things were passed to the Israelis covertly by a member of NSA who later moved to NIH after this was discovered. I found out about it, so I went to the FRAC, the Foreign Relations Council, the chair, and I said, hey, this is going on, you know, and I said, we didn't approve this. They took our software and didn't ask us anything about it. In 2001 and 2, two devices pop up on the world commercial market, Naris and Variant. The sources of two guys who came from Unit 8200, the Israeli equivalent of NSA, who were the ones who received our software in 1997 and 98. And it did exactly what we were doing.
Variant and Naris are super intrusive, conducting mass surveillance on both international and domestic communications 24/7. What is especially troubling, but little known, is that both companies have extensive ties to a foreign country, Israel, as well as links to that country's intelligence service, a service with a long history of aggressive spying against the U.S. Equally troubling, the founder and former chairman of one of the companies is now a fugitive, wanted by the FBI on nearly 36 charges of fraud, theft, lying, bribery, money laundering, and other crimes. Although there has long been congressional oversight of the telecom industry, there is virtually no oversight of the companies hired to do the bugging. Variant was founded by a former Israeli intelligence officer, Jacob Alexander, who often goes by the nickname Kobe.
And you remember me getting arrested?
This is about SAS Campbell Barracks, Leon Wind, Variant. Timothy, you told me that Variant does your local and national, your local police intercept from Israeli intelligence front.
We're going to pop you in the car.
Yeah, I know you are, Tim. F you, Tim. I'll tell you.
That was 2009. Now, watch what I say here in 2008, 16 years ago, with all that's coming out in the public now. All that's coming out. Listen to this. 7 minutes.
Yes, with regard Amdoc's Variant and Converse, a Variant is a subsidiary of Converse. All over the US, Israeli intelligence assets were staking out US government agencies. This was reported in the prestigious Salon which is a highly respected internet journal. And according to the report's author, whose identity has never been published, the DEA officials identified an increase in the number of incidents in which young Israelis claiming to be art students tried to sell them works of art. It is entirely possible, said the report, that this is an organised intelligence gathering activity. The report also documents how those arrested in the US were connected to Israeli companies that had provided telephony services for American companies and US federal authorities, while also claiming the Israeli companies should be investigated in case they had installed backdoor services, which would allow some future operative to access the American company's systems. The DEA, it is claimed, purchased communications equipment worth some $100 million from Israeli companies 5 years ago, and that it is said to be the reason for the widespread Israeli activity. And that was also reported in Haaretz, which is the daily newspaper in Israel, which of course has a slant saying it's probably a bit of a beat-up, but I think you'll find that it's not a beat-up. And spies or students, and you'll find that large article still available there in Haaretz. You also have
is 2008.
The DEA, apparently what was happening, they were targeting a lot of Jewish and Israeli drug dealer targets, and they were amazingly just seemed to be being tipped off until they finally worked out that some sort of backdoor services were installed in this Israeli-produced communications equipment. Now, the espionage operation reportedly includes employees of two companies that perform official wiretaps for US, local, state and federal law enforcement. Converse, Infosys and Amdocs. Official spokesman for both companies denied any involvement. Now, when you go to Variant in particular, Variant is a large company, and they specialise also in security stuff like wireless IP security cameras. They actually did all the London Underground. See, London Underground goes with Variant. They were, in fact, controlling all the cameras when the second round of bombings happened on the tube, and the perpetrators actually got away. Can you believe they got away and got all the way to Spain? Amazing. And they said on various times that the cameras weren't working. It was ridiculous. Now you'll notice here security intelligence, communications interception and analytics solutions, gather intelligence from communications networks to deter and investigate terrorism and crime. These are all Israeli companies, IP video solutions, and this is a company that is also based in Sydney. And we have to wonder about allowing companies like this in, and I wonder also about someone like Mr. Leon Wend. Now, this is Mr. Leon Wend right here. Now, he was also employed to install and write code for the Australian SAS communications systems via ADI, which is Australian Defence Industries. I know this from contact.
2008.
Right, met Leon Wend several times. He's an Israeli Jew. According to him, a pilot. His family are ultra-Orthodox fanatic Jews over in Israel.
He said he was a pilot. This is what was interesting when I met him. He'd given my friend a thumb drive, and my mate goes, "Hey, come and have a look at this. Leon gave me this." I knew him. I wasn't out, let's kill all the Jews. I was just Leon. I knew he was Jewish. I knew he had something to do with him and his wife. That's how he knew him, through his wife. It's a long story. But his wife's very nice. She has top security clearances. She did programming for the Jindalee over the horizon radar system, blah, blah, blah. They're over there at Campbell Barracks Special Air Service in Perth, Western Australia. So I said, oh yeah, and he's showing me all this video footage and photos of the Collins-class submarine, and you'll see it here in this. Now, you got to understand, this is the brand new submarine, German design, never been built. It was built first in Australia. And the Israelis had the Dolphin-class German submarine. Okay, what happened was, this is a story I heard direct from Leon through my friend, because in the news in Australia it was big news, billions and billions of dollars in cost overruns, and they said, oh, it was a bad design. It was a lie. It was a good design. It had some things to iron out. It was a very good sub. I've met people, Royal Australian Navy, who came to me and they said that sub is fantastic, Brendon. Fantastic. We go up on the propellers on the aircraft carrier and we sneak right up and take photographs of the aircraft carrier propellers. That's how good that sub is. That's how good. Diesel electric. Now, why were the cost overruns, and why after 2009, Tony Abbott, our favourite Jesuit Prime Minister, comes out and says, we are getting nuclear submarines from Japan. And everyone goes, what? What? We just got the Collins class on that. I'll tell you why, because of what we're discussing now. The cost overruns, and there's a book called Steel, Spies, and Spin by Peter Ewell. I contacted Peter Ewell and said, hey, do you want to know the real story? And I gave him the run. He said, pigs might fly. One word reply, one sentence, pigs might fly. Well, who's laughing now? Because that's the exact reason for the cost overruns. Australians said, hey, we need to service the sensitive internals of the weapons and sensor systems. Americans said, no, you leak like a sieve, our sensitive technology will be all over the place. Australia said, come on, dude, if there's a war or something, we need to be able to fix it ourselves. They said, no. So the Israelis pop up because that's the scam. They got the scam in the Pentagon. It was probably Dov Zakheim. Scam in the Pentagon. No, you can't have it because of blah, blah, blah. Maybe for real, maybe not. Israel pops up and says, hey, we got the exact same weapons and sensor system, but it's our modified system. Hey, do you want ours? And Australia apparently went, yeah. And billions of dollars were spent taking the American one out and putting the Israeli one in. It was a scam from start to finish. They scammed us from the Pentagon, they scammed in Israel, and they scammed with the people they had planted in Australia to rip off the Australian taxpayers. That's what they did. Because they just can't help but rip off the damn goy. Can you, boys? Oh, boy, things are going to get tough, boys and girls.
Now, it was alleged at Christmas time in 2007, 2008, I heard that Mr. Leon Wen was installing security systems in the Sydney Rail Transit System. Now, I didn't hear the name Variant mentioned, but I would presume that it would be Variant. And as we know, these are the same companies which are highly likely to have been involved in running the terrorist attacks and to blame on Muslims in the tube bombing. And I certainly wasn't going to remain quiet about Mr. Leon Wen. Now, Mr. Leon Wen also, remember, if companies like Converse and Variant can put backdoor eavesdropping channels in American Drug Enforcement Agency wiretap equipment, what are the chances that Mr. Leon Wen, who installed and wrote code for the Australian Special Forces communications gear, has installed backdoor eavesdropping channels into our elite Special Forces communications equipment? We need to think about that. I've already informed the Australian Federal Police and others about this.
So you should be informing your state and federal authorities.
For the weapons and sensor systems on the Australian Collins-class sub. I have seen video footage of Mr. Leon Wen. I've seen hundreds of photos, video footage of him clambering all over the interior. I saw that a full year to 18 months before any footage was available to the public. He was photographing everything. Now, the story is that the Collins-class blowout costs were directly attributable to the Americans refusing to allow Australians to service the sensitive internals of the American-designed and made weapons and sensor systems. This was unacceptable to the Australian government. The Israelis offered their modified US system, which was accepted. It was probably a scam. Probably someone in the Pentagon got paid for theirs, and then a mate over in Israel got their huge cut for the sensor systems. And this is why Leon Wen was in there writing code and, I presume, installing parts of the equipment. Now, that's great. So we have a history of Israeli Jews and Jews in general being involved in wiretapping, spying on supposedly friendly countries. They're huge companies like Converse, Amdocs, Variant are all involved in running intercepts and communications gear. We have Leon Wen doing that sort of work for the our specialist Australian Special Forces, the Special Air Service based in Perth, Western Australia. We have him installing and writing code for these systems on our state-of-the-art Collins-class sub. And we also coincidentally have him installing the security systems for the Sydney Rail Transit System. Think about it. What a coincidence.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's infuriating to watch this. I can understand politically why some things happen. I really can. I can understand why you might, I've given you alternative theory to Trump. One is the blind following of Trump. The other is the complete opposite, which is there's so much bad crap going on. You've got Rahm Emanuel. That's the biggest issue. If you ever wanted something that really stands out like dog's balls on a frog, it's that issue. You never hear about it, ever. But you've got the old Susie Q, Susie Wiles. Now, a lot of you sent me links, but nothing is current. I want a link, if you can look for me, please, showing, because I don't trust my search results. I really don't trust my search. I find nothing. And someone said, what do you mean? It was third down on the list. I said, I never, what's not there? I'm not getting the same search results as you. But I want something to show she's stepping aside or something, or she's being replaced. I want something to show us that the Kushners are being pushed out, I don't know, to Serbia, Albania, where they can develop their real estate and they're never setting foot in DC again. I want something which says after the hoopla, they're slowly getting rid of these people. But there are just things we can't accept. Susie Wiles is one of them. And we're going to need a disappearing of Elon Musk. You know why Elon Musk is there? They've gotten rid of him out of SpaceX and Tesla. and they're hoping to recover this multi-billion dollar company. That's what they're trying to do. But I'm telling you now, he's going to lose his contracts. But we'll see. I think the DOD's taken over and they've dumped him in Doge where he can just play like the idiot he is to keep the stock price up. A lot of drug money. Like the crypto, pushing crypto and Bitcoin. Come in, suckers, said the spider to the fly. And then they're going to say, look, due to the current economic crisis, we'll need you to, we're ready to exchange the Bitcoin you have and make it, you can get it back in US dollars or in US bonds. Well, no, I just want my Bitcoin. It's not working. Oh, sorry. Oh, we own the hardware and software that runs the internet. Sorry about that. Now, how do you want that? Do you want it in US dollars or in US bonds? And we'd also like you to explain your wealth. Thank you. We look forward to hearing from you. Hello? We look forward to hearing from you. Could you explain your wealth, please? Oh, you can't explain your wealth? Are you a drug dealer? You know what? That'll have to be confiscated. Come in, suckers. Come in, suck. Whatever. Good. Just suck it all up, America. Suck it all up. Suck in all the damn wealth. I'm sick of these suckers. Freaking Bitcoin. I got no problem with speculators. You know it's a load of crap. I got no problem with you. Gamble, baby. As long as you know you gamble. What I feel sorry for and I feel angry at these dumbasses putting college funds into damn Bitcoin. It's like, oh, are you kidding me? I'm sick of the suckers, man. It's year 2024. Suckers are born every day and you're not joking. Crikey. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. There's the latest news. 90% of key US infrastructure uses Chinese code. Fancy that. China. Israel. Those we shall not speak of. You've just heard me there from 2008. Whitney, 16 years ago. This is how long. You've seen Bill Binney talking. You've seen me being arrested. It's the biggest espionage case in history. I realize politics is different from a YouTube channel. I'm impatient. I'm tired. Just give me a damn payout with your 3.8 million USD should do it so I can build my rancho, my permaculture farm, and you'll never see me again. But till then, and they're never going to give me money, don't worry about it, I will just sit here bleating on, and I hope to see some good news that slowly they're going to edge out all the clown show they've got there. And I especially want to see Elon Musk go wherever he has to go, just clean toilets or something, please. Stop insulting us, like the drone stuff. It's getting insulting, all right? I'm watching Fox News, and it's just getting to the point of absurdity. But I've always said maybe it'll be good to have a series of rolling blackouts state by state, because it will really wake people up. It was like the vaccine. It was like COVID. It woke a lot of people up. I think with a good dose of no power, you know how I kept ranting over. I mean, Dennis Quaid got it with Grid Down, and he said, it will make COVID look like a picnic. And what did I tell you during that whole COVID? Please, all right, you need to talk about COVID, I get it, but you cannot forget about critical infrastructure. It will make COVID look like a picnic. And there's Dennis Quaid saying it will make COVID look like a picnic. I'm just saying, you don't get it. Wait for the power to go out. See the power you see right now? Right, it's all solar. It's running everything. I got 4 330 watt panels. It wasn't that much. They were $150 each. I bought them over 4 months. I've got 4 100 amp hour batteries, 1,250 amp hours, 100 amps, 4 of them. They're wired in 48 volt. I've got a $100 solar controller, got a couple of bus bars, $20, and I've now almost completely independent with my power. I'm also in a very good area here at 6,000 feet for power. It's quite cool, but the sun shines brightly. Not today, of course, with the clouds, but I'm still charging with all my stuff on. You know, you got to get some solar. I beg you. Go to YouTube University. I knew nothing. I'm really enjoying it, actually. Amps, voltages, different stuff I remember from school, or just life, and I never really understood, but now I understand. And it's fun. It's fun, and I'm powering the Christmas lights flat out all day, every day. My fridge runs off it, or my lights run off it. I've got big studio lights here, like 50 watt Mast studio lights, makes it look like daytime. And I'm running all off solar. I'd say you could spend a max $2,000 in America, where you can just walk into a shop and buy the whole thing. $2,000, put it all together yourself, the copper wiring, watch YouTube videos, and you got to get a 48 volt system. Make it bigger, not go big, well, big-ish. Four batteries, or, you know, you've got a lot of choice in America, but I got the cheapest batteries I can find. They're quite good. They're very high quality. China's dumping them now. You can get them for like $190, $170, $150. Man, they were like $900 just a few years ago. You know, and they'll run a small house. You can run a small house off that system for like just say $3,000 max with the best of the best. That's what you should be investing in. Oh, I invest in gold and silver. No, I suggest you invest in land, a water pump, a water well, a small tractor, a garden, 10,000 rounds of ammo, bunch of firearms, and water purifiers. That's what I suggest you invest in. If you want to invest in something, F gold, F Bitcoin, F silver, because if you're preparing for the apocalypse, let me tell you, if you require gold, silver, or Bitcoin in the apocalypse, number one, there will be no power. So there's Bitcoin gone. Goodbye. Fare thee well. Useless. Gold and silver you cannot eat and is not easily exchanged. The government during the apocalypse, the zombie apocalypse, will have martial law and they will do roundups and they will come for your gold and your silver. So what are you even on about? Worst case scenario, you better go and get yourself some solar set up, get yourself some land, get yourself some protection, get yourself a small community. And America, there's no better place for it. You've got the prepping communities, you've got the prepping tradition, you've got, oh man, it's like heaven. That's the Holy Land to me. Holy Land. America was the Holy Land with the divinely inspired political document. And you're in heaven. And you just buy it. You can walk into shops and buy stuff in large towns. Whereas here, I'm waiting two freaking weeks, 3 weeks for a damn fuse, 75 amp fuse for a 48 volt system. Geez, it took me 2 weeks. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, there's me in 2008, and here we are in 2024. I merely make the point. Yes, I'm still angry. I'm actually seeing a psychologist. Very good one, very zen. Breathing exercises work. My friends are all into this. Yeah, whatever, hippie. Let's just get go shoot them all. That's a better idea. But no, it does help. My problem, most men can't get access to emotions, but I'm a bit of a woman, a lot of water in my chart, Scorpio, Pluto, heaps of water. So my problem is not getting emotions. My problem is too many emotions. And I must confess, some basic psychology. It's very different from 20 plus years ago in nursing, where I knew a lot of psychologists, cognitive behavioral stuff. I hated it. Social workers and stuff. But now the psychology is definitely much influenced by Jung, much influenced from the James Hillmans of the world, much influence from Eastern philosophies and breathing techniques and all sorts of stuff. So it's really good to see a new emerging world order about us as living stones of the temple. We've got to get ourselves in order. We've got to get our emotions in check. We also have to learn ways to express emotions. We need new popular culture. We need all of those things. Ladies and gentlemen, 2008, I'm just saying to you as an example, that this is as Patrick Berge said, Brendon, we don't spend billions of dollars so you can get your message out. That's the system. And here it is. They started it all when? 2008. It all started in 2008. James Bamford released his book, first one, where he just rips into Israel and their spying, 2008. And then we have Bill Binney's complaining, and I get out in 2014 and Bill Binney's talking about variant, and I'm arrested in 2009. So in my case, me is a good example. It's a really good example of the control mechanism. All right, ladies and gents, hopefully this worked. But you know what? If I get it and the sound is all over the place, I'm just going to put it up, and I'm going to have to put it all ready and then download the video and then disconnect from the internet and do the presentation. It's not a glitch, I promise you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave you with the great F. Scott Fitzgerald and Bill Cooper. We'll talk again soon. Please have a pleasant and meaningful time of year, no matter your religion, race, ethnicity, or belief system. We're all in this together. We really are. And I actually think things are hopeful. Usually.
F. Scott Fitzgerald, quote, "The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposing ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. One should, for example, be able to see that things are hopeless and yet be determined to make them otherwise. This philosophy fitted on to my early adult life when I saw the improbable, the implausible, often the impossible, come true."
What is our common bond truly? Freedom. Freedom. Without freedom, you can't be a Christian no matter what denomination you belong to. You can't be a Buddhist. You can't own a donut shop. You can't drive from here to Oregon. You can't be an American because that's what it's all about, and it's the only thing that it's all about. Nothing else. Nothing else. It's about freedom. Only freedom.